Hello, hello everyone. How's everybody doing? This is Heidi here from She Shed Arts. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm excited to be bringing you project number 8 of the Christmas Craft-a-thon. So tonight we're doing an easy dot art, and it's going to be a candy cane swirl. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to be bringing this to you. Let me get a little bit of housekeeping things done here. And we'll get going. So we visited this pattern earlier in the Christmas Craft-a-thon. It is one of my December Easy Dot Art subscription box patterns. And I'm just showing you another way to use the pattern here tonight. So I'm really excited to bring you just a different version of the same background. So let's see. Oh, I got a little bit of wet paint there. So, all right. Yep, I've got some wet paint there on the side. I want to, let's see what's going here. Okay. All right, if you're jumping on, make sure you say hi so I know that you're here. Glad to see you this evening. All right, so we're going to do the candy cane swirl. So I am so excited to be bringing this to you here tonight. So make sure you say hi if you're here. So this is our pattern that we're working with here tonight. This is one of the patterns out of the brand new Easy Dot Art subscription box. So this is one of the ornament patterns. I call this the Christmas mom. Not necessarily is it a mom, it kind of looks like that, but that's what I call the initial pattern. But tonight we're going to utilize this pattern and do a really pretty candy cane swirl on this. So we're going to use traditional Christmas colors. So let me show you where we're starting here with the Christmas colors tonight. And really, it's just going to be very simple Christmas colors, because when you think about a candy cane, typically they are white and red or white, red, and green. Sometimes you do have some pretty crazy colors with the candy canes, but we're going to go really traditional with our colors tonight. So I have got for you Deco Art, Festive Green, Red Alert, and Titanium White. So those are our 3 things we've got here. Got some issues with the video here. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, sorry about that. I've got my video on my computer, acts like it doesn't want to play. So I hope y'all can still hear me here. If you can hear me, say hey, so I know you're here. And I know that you can hear me. All right, so anyways, we're going to start with the green, the red, Festive Green, Red Alert, and the Titanium White. So the Red Alert is really my very favorite new Christmas red that I picked up at Hobby Lobby the other day. I just absolutely love that color because it is a bright, vibrant red, and it's really becoming my favorite Christmas red. So hey Sue, how are you? Good to see you tonight. So we're starting with our swirl here. So I'm really just going to get out a little bit of paint here. You don't need a whole lot. If you haven't seen me dot before, we really use just like barely even a little bit out of a dime sized spot of paint. So we're going to go ahead and pour our red, white, and green right into the little palette over here. And you guys, I'll show you how little paint we use when we do this dot art. Red, I'm going to put the green down here and put the white in the middle. And that's probably too much, you guys. So you can really see it's very economical on paint when you're doing dot art. So tonight I will be using my Pittsburgh Punch transfer punch set, 28-piece set with 28 different sizes of tools. And I'll also be using my nail art dotting tools. So 5 different tools with 10 different sizes, a small and a large on each end, all in different sizes. So that's the tools we're going to be using tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I want to start, I love to put white right in the middle because I think that's a great focal point for our mandala. So basically what I'm doing is looking for a tool that is a little bit smaller than the inside circle. So let me show you. It's hard to see with the black background. I painted my my Easy Dot template. I painted that with Deco Art Mars Black. 2 coats I gave that today. So that was earlier today. So this is the original. So I just like to just sample my tool down in there to see, and I just want it to be a little bit smaller than the actual template, because when I push the paint down on there, the footprint of the paint will increase. So I want to make sure that I'm just a little bit smaller than that real template, okay? So what we'll do here is start with the white. And if you haven't seen me do this before, it's really just a small amount of paint on there on the end. And what I like to call it is just kissing the paint right onto the design there. I did not even touch my tool down to the surface of the template there, the Easy Dot Art template. I did not even touch that with my tool. I just basically, what I said, I just kissed the surface of it with the paint. All right, so we're going to go in a circular pattern. It's going to look kind of crazy at first, but you'll see pretty quickly what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to start just with a basic circular pattern around my center. And I want to start that with the smallest punch tool that I have here. We'll start there with that. And we'll move on from there. So with the punch tool, basically I'm going to look here and see, I think I want to go even a little smaller than that. I'm going to go in with one of my nail dotting tools because I want to be able to fit right in here. Where I'm working on fitting is right in there. And again, I want to make sure that I'm going to fit in with that space there. With the spread of the paint, you always have to be mindful of how much that paint's going to spread. So I am just taking a really tiny little nail art tool here. And what I'm going to do, I am going to start here right where that petal comes in. And I am just going to dot very small little dots right there where that, the valley of the petal comes down there to meet in the center of the design. So my goal here is to put a dot right up in here next to the center dot, and I call that hugging up. I hug the dot up there without touching the previous dot. I want to get it as close as possible. Hey Jagdesh, good to see you tonight. I'm glad so glad you made it here live tonight. I know we're about 12 hours difference, so you're just getting your day going, aren't you? And I'm working on finishing mine up. So once I got those initial dots in there, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put a dot in between the other ones that I laid down there. And it's just going to give us a really nice foundation circle right around that center dot there. Okay, I never like to try to, 9 a.m. All right, I thought you were about 12 hours apart, so you're 13 hours difference. We're 8 p.m. now, so glad you made it. It's so nice to see you. So we're going to start there with that basic foundation, and now we're going to start with the fun part, the colors. So with this pattern, you're going to start to see here fairly quickly what it is that the pattern does. So we're going to start with the red. And the easiest way for me to do this, to do the pattern and show you how it really works, is not to work around the center like I've shown you previously. We're going to do something a little bit different. So I'm actually going to start with red, and I'm just going to pick a petal that I want to start with, and I'm going to walk dots right up the center of this petal. And I'm just going to do 2 there, okay? And I'm going to hold this out, and I'm going to finish it off with a small little nail art tool. Okay, and then I'm going to go around each of the colors here, and I want to make sure that I get my pattern laid out, what I want to do here. So it's going to just be red, white, and green, just like a candy cane would be. And I'm doing the same thing for each one of these petals. I'll walk the dot up without reloading paint, and then I will put the smaller little dot at the end. Now on these Pittsburgh punch sets, there is a pointy end and then there's a flat end. We are always using the flat end. So if you were using these in a shop, this would be the end that you would load into the punch tool that you're using, like a lathe or something like that. So we are using the actual end that would go in the tool, simply because you have graduated sizes there, and it gives us our perfect graduated dots there. And it makes your sizing really you can climb right up in size or down, whichever way you go. Okay, and we're just working around, and I'm just laying out my my initial pattern here so I can follow around with the swirl. So the swirl is one of those things that you really want to make sure that you get this pattern down, because if you go off pattern on this, you'll definitely see it in the swirl. So you want to make sure you get your foundation laid here to where your colors are exactly like you want them to be, so that the rest of the project will look awesome. Okay, so we're just finishing up this part of the pattern just like we did. And we'll go in with the green. And we're just putting some basic designs in here. And we'll go back in and we're really going to do a lot of detail here once we get the pattern on here. Okay, so you can see we've gone red, white, green, red, white, green. Okay, now how to make the swirl is in this design. You can see that we've got the petals that keep going out. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my red, and I want to, on the second one, let me look, I'm looking at my pattern from before. I am just going to take my small dotting tool, and I'm going to lay a large dot here. That is on the big end of my small dotting tool. And then I'm going to take the small end, and I'm just going to walk some dots up. Now I'm going to go around here to the other one, and I'm going to go over one and do the exact same thing that I just did. Okay, I'm going to lay a larger dot right here in the center. And then I'm going to walk up with that design there, right on the side. Now we'll do the same with our white. And I'll switch on around here. And what we're doing, basically, we're going to the one beside it. And we're just getting that base design in there. So you guys, I love this, these Easy Dot Art templates that I've created here. So if you have not heard, this is my new subscription box. And this is part of the December box. So the December box is going to ship out December 1st. So it is actually on sale through midnight on November 25th. And I actually am running a founding member special. So now until the end of November 25th, you can get this for the founding member price. It will be 3 designs per month that you'll get in the box, and you'll get a private Facebook community that will show you how to use these designs every month. and teach you all the basics of dot art and how to do dot mandalas. So it's a lot more than just the subscription box. But if you lock in the price of the founding member special that we're doing right now, it is $22 a month, which if you're in the continental United States, that does include shipping. If you're outside of the continental United States, then there is additional shipping charge there for that. So it is a great deal, $22 a month. You get 3 designs. So while I'm talking about it, let me see if I've got my 3 designs for December. You have the compass design, the design we're working on now, the Christmas mum, and then this is a Christmas poinsettia design. And both the mum and the poinsettia are ornaments, set up to be ornaments. Now, you will not always have ornaments every month. That's just a special for December. So just a starting special to kick the box off with. Okay, now we're going to just increase, or I'm sorry, I'm going to decrease the size of the dots here. I'm just going to go straight up towards the top of that petal on each one of these colors. Now I fit 4 in there. You may not always fit 4 in there. That one was 5, so it just depends on how much paint you have on your tool and how much room you have. And you'll start to see the pattern here shortly. All right, let's move on to the next row. Now, we're going to do the same thing we did with the design. We're going to go over 1. And what we're going to do on this one, we're going to lay a decent sized dot right here alongside each of those petals. So we're at this petal right here. So I'm just laying a dot right along each side there. And we'll do the same with the other colors. And I'm just moving over 1. And over 1 with the green. And then I'm going to move over 1 with the red. Welcome. If you're just joining us, make sure you say hi so I know that you're here. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you've not seen dot art before and you have questions, please feel free to ask any questions that you might have. Or if you have any questions about the new subscription box. So I'm really excited to be bringing these products to you guys. I've teamed up with a company called Diverse Woodworking. And I've teamed up with them to bring this monthly subscription box out to everybody. I think this was the one thing that was missing in the dot art world. So many people that start with this dot art obsession, they'll get started, and the biggest thing that people always say is, I don't know what kind of patterns to do. So that is really what I'm doing here, is helping with patterns. It also helps to learn with spacing. This is a great way for a new beginner dot artist to learn about patterns, learn about spacing. Hello, Nancy. How you doing tonight? So glad you're here. I am working on this wonderful, I call it the Christmas mum pattern. It is an ornament here, and I'm showing how to do a candy cane swirl pattern. So this is totally different than the previous pattern that I showed with the this mum design. I'll show you the previous pattern here. Let me get a couple of these dots laid out here, and then I'll show you what that previous pattern looked like. I have shown you the basic mum pattern that I do. I'll show that to you here. This is the basic mum pattern. So it's just a lot of small walk dots there. That's the basic pattern that I started with, this same one. So tonight we're doing a candy cane swirl pattern, which is going to look dramatically different than the first patterns that I showed you. So that's the other neat thing about the Easy Dot Art wood templates, is that you are not just stuck with one pattern. You can do any of the patterns that I show you how to do, but honestly, the sky is the limit with these. It's amazing because you can create so many different designs with these. That's what I love about them. Okay, now that I have the that initial area, I am going to go ahead and do some walking of the dots here. And I want to go a little bit bigger. This is a bigger petal here. So I'm stepping up in size here a little bit. So I'm just putting 2 dots here. I stepped up in size quite a bit. And I'm just fitting 2 dots right in there. If you're just joining me, say hello so I know that you're here. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And again, we're going to do 2 walked dots here. Flip around to the other red and do 2 more. So I'm just using basic Christmas colors here. I've got Red Alert, Festive Green, and Titanium White, all Deco Art Americana. And we'll do the same thing here. And we'll just walk up 2 and flip it around and walk up 2 over here. Okay, and I'm going to bring back my nail dotting tool and put a final one up top here. And one up top for each of the other side. So I'm so excited to be showing you guys how to do this swirl, because this is the first time I've ever shown how to do this on live video. So I'm excited for you guys to see it. It's a fun pattern. I love it. Okay, so let's move on up here. I'm just going to try some sizing. I think I want one smaller. So we're going to start here with the red again, and I'm just moving over to the next petal over. Very similar here. I'm going to put a large dot here. I went back in there because I just wanted it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to put one above it. Same size. And again, we're going to go side to side. And I tell you, I love these patterns because I have no doubt about where I need to put my dots, and they will end up to where the pattern is really similar, just depending on how I place my dots. And it's simply because of the laser etch design that we have here. It helps me lay out that pattern really easily, and I don't have to stress over, am I placing this dot in the right place? Am I, am I putting this where it needs to be? So there's no doubt about it with the Easy Dot Art template. It is definitely something that will help you learn how to do your patterns and learn how to do your spacing. That's one of my favorite things about it. So as I was saying earlier, a lot of times when people are getting started with dot art, the patterns and the spacing seem to be the biggest challenges for people as they get started with this art. So I love to, I'm real excited about bringing this to you guys so that you can help increase your patterns and be able to do some real exciting new designs with that. Okay, I'm just rubbing my hand up here. It seems like it's not focusing. Okay, so we're going to go back here with my nail dotting tool. And we're going to bring up, oh, I think I didn't do the green yet. Well, I'm already started with this. So I'm just bringing up some walk dots here, just changing up our pattern a little bit. And I got to go back and do those green ones. I missed doing the green ones, so I got all wound up thinking about doing these little walk dots here. So when I do walk dots, I load my tool one time, and then I cruise on up through there without reloading that tool. So let me go back and finish the greens. I did not do the greens on that level there, sorry. I missed my green dots. Let's get these in there so we can do all of them the same at the same time. I'm reloading that one just to make sure that I have it the way that I want it. All right, there we go. So what I'm doing with my tool over here on the side, I am just, each time I'm wiping it off as I go. All right, back to the nail dotting tool. I'm just going to do what I did with the white. I'm just walking up 4 small dots on this petal. And then we'll finish up with the red and go to the next one. Are you guys starting to see the swirl yet? All right, if you're just joining me, make sure you say hello so I know that you're here. Okay, so we're going to go up to the next row of petals. We'll just start right here with the red, right where we are here. And let's see, let's see what we want to do here with this one. So I think what we'll do here is go ahead and put, I think I'm just going to walk some tiny dots here and do something a little bit different. I want to walk up from the center point here. And then we'll go back in and do a little different treatment. Okay, we'll go over here and grab the white one here. And I'm going to go back over that one again. I think I accidentally dipped in a green spot there. Just want to make sure those are where I need them, or the color that I need them. There we go. All right. Hope you guys can see that okay. Okay. Now we'll go on to the next white one here. finishing up with the green. And then the last green. All right, now we're going to put a little bit more accent on these. And I want to go with a larger tool here. And we're just going to go straight up with that. The red's a little thinner than the green, so I loaded that twice. And then we'll come back in here with the white. Just put my finger there in the green. Let me go fix that here. All right, let's go back to the white here. All right, if you're just joining in, make sure you say hello. We're working on a candy cane swirl here. This is the same pattern that I used for the Christmas mum that I showed you the other night, but we're doing a different design with this pattern, and it's a candy cane swirl. We're using our basic Christmas colors here, red, white, and green, and you'll start to see how the swirl takes place as we keep going here with this design. And we are going to go back here and just work on the outside edge. We're working on the same petal. I'm just putting a little bit more detail in there. And then we'll finish up with the red on that design. So basically what I'm doing there, I'm just following this outline of the petal here. On that particular one, I started right there where those two meet in together, and I just dotted down until it met up with the next area of dots. And that just gave me a starting point there for that design. Okay, now we're going to go right on up to the next one, and we are going to start with a large dot right at the top of that previous petal. Oh, hey, Jamie, good to see you. Yeah, we got the Christmas colors going here. Thank you very much. And can you see the swirl starting to happen here? It's hard to see at first, but once we get it all together, you will see the candy cane swirl kicking in. So you just have to be watchful on this design and make sure that you're going in the right location with the right color so you can continue that swirl. And then we'll go with the green. All right, now we'll come back in and we're going to finish the bottom portion of that petal. And I'm just hugging that color right up in there. And we'll do that with each of the others. All right. And we'll get the red. Okay. Now we will just walk these up a little ways. And we'll do, let's see, the green. Now, while I've got this smaller nail dotting tool, I'm going to go back and hit the top of this one here. Extend that up a little bit. And then we'll go back and do the other two colors as well. Hello, hello. Oh, Jamie. Yeah, I'm excited to see it completed too. I've not done this one in the Christmas colors, so I'm excited to see that too. Me too. You know, that one is a little bit bigger. It needs a little bit bigger nail art tool here. There we go. Okay, now the previous set we were working on, I'm going to extend those up as well. And so basically I'm going to add a couple dots here up towards the peak of that petal. And then we'll get the red and the green. And then we'll complete the red one here. Now this red is that Red Alert. It is my new favorite red for Christmas. It's a really bright, vibrant red. Now I'm going to go back in and just do a smaller dot with my nail art tool just to finish that extension off on each one of those. And then we'll grab the white here. I'm going to redo that one. There was a little dab of green on there. I'm just going to go back and put a little more on that previous one. Okay, can you guys start to see the swirl we got going on here? So we can see we're swirling up this way. We got one more here. So, on this last one, I really want to highlight this area here. So basically what I'm going to do is do single dots all the way down, redipping every time to really highlight the base of that petal. So when you redip each time, it makes your dot size uniform. And I'm basically I'm counting the top one, 4 there, and I'll count the top one on that side. So I'll just put 3 here, and that'll make the 4. So we'll do that on each one to complete off that swirl. This red paint is a little thinner, so I'm dipping a couple times here to make it that thicker uniform dot like the white ones were. Can you guys see that swirl? And the green, you might have noticed it's a little thicker, so I don't have to work on getting so much onto that for the green because those dots are pretty thick anyways. With that, it's just a thicker consistency on that color. All right. All right, that is our basic design there. And I'm going to go ahead and go in and lay in some more design work within each one of these petals here. What I'm going to do now is just some what I call swooshes and swipes. So we're going to lay in some other, let me show you just a little bit about what a swoosh is or a swipe. So let's use our green. It's going to be the easiest as far as consistency. So I'm going to get just a little bit of paint on here. I've got that loaded up, and I've got my ball tool here. And I'm just going to take that and swipe it out, and it makes a little swoosh, or almost like a little comma. You can also do that with your flat tools here. So if I lay a little bit of paint out here to get started, and then I'll come back with my ball tool, the round ball tool, and I will just pull out a swish. So it makes like a little comma. And once you figure out how to do those, they're a lot of fun. So we're going to incorporate some of those into this design here. And it's going to really help make that swoosh design noticeable. So I'm going to start with some of these bigger areas here. And I'm really just loading that up. I'm going to do both of these sides here. I'm loading those up with quite a bit of white paint there. And then I'm going to take my ball tool and pull that up. I just want to pull that swish up. Now we'll turn it around here, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to lay out that white there. And sometimes when you get these on here, it is good to come back and get a second layer, kind of thicken them up a little bit, almost like you're top dotting on your swoosh. And you can dot on top of swooshes too. Really, it's just your own personal preference, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to pull that up. And when I get these swooshes in here, you'll really start to be able to see that design, that swirl design. I'm going to put a little bit more white paint in here, freshen my paint up here a little bit. And I'm just loading these up here. And then I'm going to pull these swishes out. And on this design, what that's really doing is showing you that actual shape of that petal. and it really accents what that shape is. And I'm going to do another big one here. Hello, hello. I'm working on swooshes and swipes here. So I'm doing all the white here and getting my swooshes in on the bigger areas. And I'm really trying to go back in here, get as much loaded into that first dot without touching the previous dots below. Now let's get on our green here. And we're going to do the exact same thing we just did. Load up our green. And then we'll pull it up and create our swoosh. A little bit smaller size on that next one. There's just not as much space here in this petal as there is in those other ones to put our loading dot in. So I used just a little bit smaller size tool, and then we're going to pull that swoosh up. Okay, now back to the bigger area, so we're going to do that bigger dot there. And I went up 2 spaces there because I'm going to put something else down there in the bottom area. And we'll pull these up. I really wanted those to come close to touching. Now we'll go back into this area. And we'll follow that up. And we'll get a little bit smaller. And we'll go into this one. And get a little bit more green here. And we'll freshen up our red too. Okay, let's do our loading dot with our smaller tool on the green here. A little bit smaller area. Let's load that up a little more. That green is really thick, so it loads up really well. And we'll pull that up. Pull that one up. And now we'll hit our red here with the bigger. Now we're really going to need to load this red up simply because that red is a little thinner. And then we'll pull that up. All right, let's get that pulled up. So I've got my loading dots on there. And we'll pull the swirls up, or the swooshes up. And we'll move on up to this one, do the same thing. We'll get our loading dot right in that second space there. And like I said on this red, it's fairly thinner. So we're going to load it up pretty thick here, just so we're ensured that we can pull that swoosh up there a little bit farther. And you can really see the accent of the petal shapes once the swooshes are going in there, and it helps with the swirl as well. Okay. And we'll load up here pretty thick with this one. And we're going to pull those swooshes up. Got our loading dot down there. And we'll get that other one pulled up. I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see exactly how I'm doing that. Then we'll take the little thinner one and we'll load up again here. And pull that on up. All right. Now, getting those swooshes in really helped define the swirl there. So let me hit this with the hairdryer here real quick, and we'll get some more swooshes in there. Okay. Now we're just going to work on some additional components here. Let's see. I want to just do some small little swooshes here on the petal. And we don't even need to do a loading dot. It's really just a small little swoosh beside the dots here. And I'm really probably need a smaller, the smallest tool I have, because I need to get a small little line in there just to fit that little swoosh in there. And you know, my goal always is to get that in there without touching the previous. Oh yeah, that smaller one is much better. The first one I did, it was a little big. Yeah, this one is much better. I can get that in there without touching it. And it helps get that swirl effect in there. Now the green's a little thicker, so I'll have to be careful here. And we're going to put some swirls on up. And the green. And I want to go back to that little bit bigger one that I just had. And I'm really just adding in these swoosh marks to help accentuate each one of those petal areas there. And it also helps to where you can really see that swirl design when you have the swooshes, because they follow the contour of the petals there. And so it helps accent the candy cane swirl. Okay, let's see here. Go back in and do the white. I'll be live again tomorrow night, so you can stop back by about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And I will be doing a little more dotting. So I just did, let's see, I want to make sure I make them look the same. A swoosh on each side and then one up the middle here. So basically what I did is I went through and I filled everything in with the dots that I wanted. And then I went back in and I am filling in with swooshes now. So I will go back in and do some top dotting when everything is dry. So I'll be putting top dotting, if you don't know what that is, I'll be putting different colored dots over previously dotted things to make a more three-dimensional look to it. Okay, let's go back in and do our red. So the top dotting I like to do after everything is dry. I want to make sure that I'm not top dotting over something that is still wet. You can really see that swirl design now. All right, I'm just going to look at this and see if there's anything that I want to add in. And I think I may do smaller. Go back to the pink one. And I'm just going to go down here. we're just going to go back in and do the rest of those. I'm just filling in here where I have a few spaces, trying to make those consistent there. It's easy to get lost in the design and not realize which one you're actually filling in. So let's see, I got all the greens there. Go back and get my reds. All right. I'm just finishing up some little small dots where I just want to fill in a little area here. And I'll do that on each of these other colors. And a lot of times on this type of design, it is just figuring out what you need to go back and fill in to complete the design the way you want it. Okay, if you're just joining in, I'm working on a candy cane swirl design tonight. I'm going to go back in and just redot one of these. There's a red mark on it. Just wanted to make sure that that was covered. Now, so just once again, just filling in a little bit. Remember when I put these on there, I said I wanted to put a little something else in there. So I'm just going back in and filling that in. Right. Now, I'm looking at each one of these at the top to see if I can fit a dot on each one of those, and it looks like I can. So I'm just going to put one little dot there and here. kind of looking to see where I want to fill in. And I think I'm just going to sit with that for a little while and see how I like it. So there you go, guys. I hope you can see that swirl. See the swirl there and there. So it really just kind of goes like this on that white one. Then on the red it goes up. And on the green it goes up. So that gives us our candy cane swirl or our candy drop swirl. I hope you guys like this. So I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, I'm so sorry, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be live again tomorrow. So if you're working on your cooking for Thanksgiving, make sure you stop by and watch me while you're cooking. And I'll have another design. I think I'll probably end up doing another swirl tomorrow. Just some different colorations to give you an idea of what you can do with different colors and different patterns. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you enjoyed that different tutorial with this same pattern. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.